Coach's Corner is your chance to get to know your local coaches, players, and staff of each local school and get the X's and O's before the next games. Join us on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. for the Red Hot Stove League for the latest from the Cincinnati Reds, and stay around for Coach's Corner. During the week, you'll also hear from IU and Purdue coaches, as well as updates from Indy Racing, NASCAR, and the Indianapolis Colts. You'll find us on WSLM 97.9 FM and WSLM 1220 AM, along with live streaming on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Be sure and follow us all season for a front row seat and a closer look at high school and regional sports.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Nate Pierce. Tonight I'm going to be joined by the coaches around the county. For Eastern tonight, I'm going to be talking to Mr. Austin Roberts. How are you doing tonight, Austin?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I've spent a lot of time over the last couple of years getting to talk to Coach Dean and some of his counterparts and things, and I love that he sends you guys up here to get involved in this, because one of these days you guys might be the ones in the hot seat.
That's right. It could be.
So, last week's game, you guys had a home opener against West Washington. Man, I tell you what, getting the updates while I was down in North Harrison with the Salem game, getting those updates, it was a nail-biter the whole time. I'm also in a group chat with Jeff Johnson. He's a pastor over at Heritage Chapel Church, and he goes to all the games, and his son Matthew coaches there at the middle school. And they were, giving us little updates and stuff, and I tell you what, it was another one of those games that Eastern was just right there.
Man, it was. We talked after the game. I think we kind of boiled down to 3 plays. We gave up 2 passes there and a big run that we kind of thought we hadn't contained, and the kid broke out of it. But yeah, we were happy overall. That first half was a little bit of a struggle. We were struggling to tackle a little bit. Just those fundamental things, you
right.
practice and kind of sticking our arms out there. But we fought, man. I mean, we came out. We gave up 6 points in the second half. Our defense fought well. We had to give Braden a little bit of a break. We had Connor Gilstrap stepped up for us big time. Linebacker kind of gave Braden a breather. But yeah, right there, man, is just.
It's so close. And I tell you, and to play such a an opponent, such a formidable opponent. You guys, Eastern's football team has come a long way, and the records just don't show how good you guys really are. And I think that you guys are just right there on the brink of becoming, one of Southern Indiana's great football teams.
Yeah, and we agree. I mean, we're right there. We have the parts put together. Have a lot of great working parts put together. Our coaching staff. We had a good game plan in place, and we executed it for the most part. It kind of came down to those small things, tackling and a couple big plays. And
so if you had to narrow it down to where the wheels came off, and really the wheels didn't come off because you guys were there, but if you had one thing that you had to look back and be like, boy, if we just had that back.
I think, like you said, I don't think the wheels really came off, but we came out in the second half. They were excited to come back out. The game was right there. We were 8 points away, I think. We got the ball back, and that kickoff, we must have kicked off and lost it, and they picked it up there with short distance to go, and that seemed like it kind of knocked a little bit of wind out. But, I mean, we came back and recovered. They only scored 1 time in the second half, so that was something we were proud of. We kind of started clicking on offense there, too, so that'd probably be the moment I'd say kind of changed it a little bit. Cause,
Yeah, and those turnovers, they hurt so much. Even if it was just one, that's points that you could have potentially put back on the board.
Right.
And whenever, like you said, watching those fundamentals, if you're not fundamentally sound, then everything else kind of goes to the wayside. You can have this game plan or that game plan, but if you're not, making the fundamentals count, then it doesn't matter either way.
Right. Totally agree.
And that's that comes with it's first game. You guys have been practicing and scrimmaging and things, but it's still first game. You get them first game jitters. Hopefully you got that out of the way. You got an opponent in Crawford County next week that they just haven't looked so good as a football team, and those are the games that you kind of get in there and it's like, all right, boys, let's get this done and move on to the next, and if we're going to work things out, let's work it out right now.
Yeah, and that's been a big focus. We feel like we have a good chance coming against Crawford County, but they're improved from where they were last year.
Yep.
They got some big kids over there, and we got some big kids, so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, and that's one thing you can't take for granted is who they were last year. It's always an improvement. They're everybody's always working to improve. So going in there with the attitude of, oh, this is a gimme, we'll get you bit sometime.
Yeah, and it can, and you don't want to be that team. But we worked hard this week. I think we stick to what we do, and I think we're going to compete well on Friday. But like you said, can't get bit on this one.
That's right.
You stay focused.
Now, what with all the heat that's been going on this last week, what practices look like?
We've been outside 2 days. Of course, you're limited on those Mondays now with helmet only, but we got some good work in. Our scout team gives our defense, gives our offense a good look. It's been good. We were inside today, but still got a lot out of it. You can still throw, still run some drills and stuff, but overall it's been pretty good. Fighting the heat is kind of what it is. You just gotta have to go with it.
Yeah. Now you guys got pushed back to 8:00 start time this Friday as well, right?
Yep.
And you will be at Crawford County.
Yep.
Okay, so Crawford County at 8:00. I think most of the games around the southern Indiana have been bumped this year.
Yeah, most of them got pushed back, I think.
And that's something that you gotta take into account. If it's, of course, this time of year it's always hot, but whenever you've got those heat indexes that are so high, you've got to be hydrated and make sure those players are taking good care of themselves as well as being prepared for the regular stuff that they have to take care of for the game, and then they've got to put this on top of that. So
that's another big thing for us. We've been subbing some players in and out, trying some people in new spots, just so we can give those guys a breather.
Right.
We have a lot of kids that go both ways and play, probably 80% of the game, if not more. And
but it only makes sense to protect your assets.
Right.
You got those kids out there that are doing that, or playing both ways, and having to take up double responsibility. They've got to have a breather.
Yeah.
We had a incident this past week with Salem where our guy was just he had a big run and was gassed, and it's like, what do you do now?
Right.
Whenever you're spread thin, you've got to be able to find somebody to.
Yeah, and we had a similar situation like that on Friday night. Braden needed a break. I got here, he had 26 carries, so he was a workhorse for us, so he needed a break, and one of our guys stepped up and played well.
Yeah.
We were kind of at the point where we were like, who we're going to throw in here, and it stepped up, and he did a great job. I mean, we stopped them big there and got the ball back and scored, so it's exciting to have kids that can do that when you have guys like that. Your athletes need a break.
And it really does help out if you've got a decent bit of depth chart there that you can kind of fall back onto. Then you're not burning your workhorse out. You're not gonna, not as likely to get that kid injured because he's the only guy you got.
Right.
So it makes sense to have something in your back pocket.
Yeah. And we have some of those. We got Nathan McBride. He can run the ball a little bit for us. Gets Braden one of those breathers, but yeah, we got some good kids that are in the background and they're doing well, and we're excited to lean on them a little bit, especially with this heat coming on Friday.
Yeah. Well, then that's good. Now, tell me a little bit about what you do down there at Eastern.
I help Coach Dean out with the defense, mainly spend time with the linebackers.
Okay.
And then I'm a little bit of a floater on offense a little bit. I played quarterback at Eastern many years ago, but I mainly help out with the running backs on that side of the ball. So I'm excited to kind of help out on both sides because that's what I did. I feel like I'm pretty relatable to the players.
Right.
I've been that person. I've been that both ways on Beacon. I had some of those games where we were right there, man. And, it's one thing to change. So I feel like that's a good part of me. I can kind of relate to those kids a little bit. And they're a fun group to be around. I think Coach Dean said last week, you kind of have to rein them in a little bit. They get a little wild, but they are fun to be around. And when they're focused, they're focused. I mean, and that's the good thing about them.
Well, it's also I find it kind of good that you're not so far advanced as far as age-wise compared to them, because you are still relatable to them, and you can still get on their level a little better than some of us older guys can.
Yeah.
It's fun whenever you're coaching like the little guys, like I have, because you're a dad as well as a parent, so you kind of translate that. But whenever it's coming to these high school kids, it's a whole different ballgame.
Right.
You've got to find a way to be relatable to them.
Yeah.
And I feel like that you're right there in that age group that you do so.
Yeah.
And not have the kids want to be buddies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to kind of draw the line between buddy and coach.
Yeah, for sure. It's fun to be able to talk about when I played football, not so many years ago. It's fun to talk about that stuff. They want to hear about that stuff, what it was like when I played in high school, what were these teams like? Is it still the same? And, a lot of things aren't still the same, but they have a good time having those conversations. But when it's time to get down to it, I think we do a good job about that. Brant does a good job. Brant Ferris helping us out this year. He has a good time with them. We like to get out. We throw the ball to them a little bit, swing around, and have fun. But, yeah, they're a fun group to be around. It's enjoyable.
Now, going into this game this week, is there anything special that you guys have kind of eyeballed or anything you can tell me without giving out any scouting here?
Right. We're just going to stick to what we do. We got a good running back. We got some people we can swing it to. Keep our game plan balanced. I think we're going to be fine. Just those things with week one, cleaning those up, cleaning up those tackles, things like that. We've got it in place. We just got to fine-tune it just a little bit. I think we're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah. Now, do you think that they got the message as far as being able to clean up those fundamentals? Do you think that it came across well enough in practice this week?
I think so. That first game, especially it being West Washington, and you're right there on the brink of it, and you lose it. It stings.
Yeah.
It stings for a few days, and it was still stinging on Monday. And I think I could see a little bit of attitude changes with some of these kids. They want to turn it around, and they can turn it around. We've seen a couple attitude changes this week, and I think we're ready.
And that's where it matters. Whenever you see that change, those kids that actually take it seriously and they take the encouragement that you're giving and the teaching them. They're actually using them and utilizing them. That shows you the kids that really care, that want to be there, and they're going to be the kids that step up and really make things happen for you.
Yeah, and we've had a couple of younger kids be like that too. They get kind of the chippiness going in practice, and that's fun. It gets some of those older guys fired up and willing to work more. And I think it's been a lot of encouragement at all levels. Freshmen all the way to seniors. Talking to each other and helping each other out. And it's been good. I think we've seen a good shift this week and being focused and moving on for the rest of the season.
And that's good that the team is a team. They're a family. They're getting together and they're helping each other, talking to each other, saying, "Hey, man, let's clean this up. Let's do this. Let's do that." That really goes to show that's not just what the kids are about. It's actually a reflection of your coaching staff and what you guys are about.
Yeah, and I think we do a good job about meshing well. At halftime, I talked to the kids. I just said, we were kind of hanging our heads a little bit, because it's that first game, and it's West Washington, you want to win, and it's just. I kind of could see an attitude change when I said, is the first half over? And all of them looked at me like, yeah. It's like, all right, well, we got a second half to play. Let's move on. And kind of see those wheels start turning like, okay, this is what it is. That's the path. Let's move on. And I think I think they did a good job about that. And it showed in the second half. We only gave them 6 points.
You guys never trailed for more than a score all night.
Not long. I think it got separated there. Well, no, I don't think we did.
Yeah, every time I got a report, it was just 1-4 ahead.
Yeah, it seemed like they scored and we scored, and then we just let up a big play right there before half, and still it was only separated by, I think it was 21-13 at that point, and that was just a little bit of confusion, and that's just the things you clean up. You kind of go back and look at that, which you can't go back and change it, but
can't change it, but clean it up.
Yeah, exactly. And we talked to a couple of those kids about that. It clicked, and it's like, okay. When we came back out in the second half, you could tell that it changed. We understood, okay, if this happens, this is where I'm at. They'll start playing assignment football a little bit better in that second half.
Right.
And you could tell how the wheels just changed, and we kind of took off there.
Yeah, and you'll start to see that week to week. And with me and Coach Levine talked about this last year. From week 1 to week 6, you better see some improvement. If not, there's something you're going to have to start looking at to change.
Right.
But it's that progression. Getting consistently better is what's going to matter.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, that scout team giving us a better look. I think you're seeing that out of our offense a little bit better, and even our defense. Seems like we're going a little bit harder in practice. We're looking to put, maybe if it is our buddy, maybe that fires us up over there.
Right.
I think they do a good balance of that. We have a lot of. It's a tight knit group, I feel like, and they do a lot of chirping to each other, and that gets the fire going, and it's their fun group to be around. I think we're going to be exciting.
Well, that's what we're looking for. You know what I mean? Do you have anything that you need to add before we get off of here tonight?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, it's been nice to meet you, and nice to get to talk with you a little bit, and hopefully we get to do this again sometime this season.
Yep.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right.
New babies, sports physicals, 3D mammograms, primary care, pediatrics, oncology, advanced orthopedics, lung screenings, and surgery. From providing community health services to performing the most innovative procedures, the exceptional doctors, nurses, and staff at Schneck have been caring for friends, families, and neighbors for over 100 years. Schneck, healthy together. Fantastic Sam's Cut and Color is hiring stylists. If you're driven, creative, and ready to make an impact, then we're looking for you. We offer competitive salaries, flexible schedules, and professional training. So bring your creativity, style, and drive to your local Fantastic Sam's today and show us what you've got. Fantastic Sam's. Real salon experiences. Real savings. Real fantastic. Stop by Fantastic Sam's in Salem today or visit their website at fantasticsams.com.
Sprained ankle, swollen joints, and no time for an appointment? Schneck Medical Center has you covered. Visit our orthopedic walk-in clinic for expert care. Our specialists provide fast attention to a number of bone and joint problems. No appointment necessary. Available Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. For more information, visit schneckmed.org. Schneck, healthy together.
It's time to put on the old gold and black, hail Purdue, and jump on the Boilermaker Special.
Middle puck, TJ Sheffield, inside the 20, spins away, 5 touchdowns, what a run!
Boiler up, Purdue fans. Purdue kicks off the season against the Fresno State Bulldogs. Join us Saturday, September 2nd on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back, and I'm live with Coach Brian Gleason. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
Doing pretty good. We got to beat the heat.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's been a warm one, hasn't it?
Well, it's at least everybody's in the same boat.
Yeah.
I think the safety of the kids is priority, and we've been pretty much inside all week, but we can still get the things done.
Yeah, we were hoping to get to see that JV game on Monday night, but I definitely understand, the cancellation on that. It has been tremendously hot.
It's disappointing because the kids deserve to get a chance to play, and we're still evaluating players,
Yeah.
We were really looking forward to seeing some guys out there on the JV game that are itching for some varsity spots.
Yeah.
We wanted to get them evaluated, so that kind of set us back a little bit. But everybody's in the same boat. It's not it's not the end of the world.
That's right.
It's just, the safety, and it's miserable too. I mean, it's hot. It's going to be miserable Friday night.
Yeah. At least you got a start time push back a little bit, so we'll get a little cooler evening.
Well, that's I'm old school. I like these early games. I mean, it seems like the most of the games are under daylight.
Yeah, I like being under the light.
Yeah, so when we went to daylight savings time, that in Indiana, it pushed all these games to sunlight games.
Right.
Early in the season, but so yeah, it'd be good to be under the light.
So we went down there to North Harrison for the season opener, and I tell you what, watching the game, I was not disappointed in what I've seen out of our players. I feel like the score was a little non-representative of how the kids played. I think the kids actually played a really good game. I think we had a really big touchdown called back that kind of cost us a little bit there. And but otherwise, it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting, a little bit more aggressive North Harrison in the first half, and we held our own in the first half.
We forced a punt first drive and got the ball back and we're driving, and then we ended up having to punt. But no, I was pretty excited about the effort and what we saw in the field. A couple plays here and there that could have been a different game, but they were physically overmatching us.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell if anybody watching the game could just see that they were bigger and stronger than us. And I told our staff, my staff, and people, I said, we got beat in the weight room tonight.
Yeah.
And that takes a year or two.
Yeah.
North Harrison, those kids have been lifting since 7th grade, and been doing Coach Williamson's program for a long time.
Right.
We've been doing it for 2 months.
Right. And watching some of the things, some of the plays that you guys had, I was really impressed by some of that, some of the misdirection, and there was a few plays where you were sending, I can't think of his name now. It's on the tip of my tongue. Blake Lorman.
Blake, yeah.
Whenever you guys were kind of handing off to him, going up the middle there.
Yeah, we got it. One of the things about, everyone talks about, balance. You want to have a balance. A lot of people think of balance as pass run.
Right.
We think of balance of who's carrying the ball.
Right.
We want to be balanced as far as who's carrying the ball. Quarterback, fullback, running back, wing back.
Right.
And the receiver, our X out wide. And we want to be balanced in that regard. And it just so happened that the fullback got some more carries this week last week, and they were doing some things defensively that forced us to do that. But that's why we make the adjustments to make.
Right. And like I said, I think that some of the plays that I've seen where they're going to work.
Yeah.
Maybe need a little brush up on them, and a little more time to.
The wing tee or the style that we run is it takes a little time.
Yeah.
The timing, a lot of the blocking rules. It takes some time. But one of these times the light bulb's going to click, and you're going to see us do some good things. It's a misdirection. We tell our kids our offense is predicated on you faking.
Right.
Be a great faker, and that will help freeze the defense and give us a chance to do what we need to do.
Yeah, because if you don't sell that fake, they're going to read you every time.
Yeah, it's like in every position has a fake. Whether it's once you're getting the ball or blocking. So if you're not blocking on that play, you need to be a great faker.
That's
you
right.
need to draw a safety or an outside linebacker to use for a corner. That way, that's one less person we got to block.
That's right.
One less person we got to take care of. So everyone, it's a lot of moving parts. We got 11 guys that got to do their job.
Every time.
Every time.
And that having them bite on, say, a wingback that's going out.
Yep.
If they bite on him because they think that's coming his way, that gives you the opportunity to get the play off from the backside.
And that's the wing tee.
Yep.
That's what it is. Usually you see them run the wing tee are usually smaller. We got small linemen.
Yeah.
Our guards are 150, 160 pounds.
Right.
So, that's what you do.
Yeah.
And that's how you get to have some success. And we'll get there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And watching some of the younger kids get rotated in this past week was encouraging because we're in a position where some of those kids can step up and play those positions and giving some of those other kids a breather. Because some of these kids are playing both ways most of the night, and giving them a chance to take it helps out a whole lot.
Yeah, we've only got 6 seniors and one of them's a kicker.
Right.
So we got 5 players, 5 position players. So it's we got a football team, but we don't have very many juniors either.
Right.
So a lot of sophomores, and you'll even see some freshmen this week.
I was even going to talk about a couple of those last week during that game, like around the fourth quarter. You had Logan Dent getting a whole lot of touches, but that kid was very impressive.
Well, he was one of those kids that we wanted to play in the JV game.
Yeah.
So he had. We wanted to see more from him. But our JV game got canceled. So we were hoping to see some more out of him and evaluate even some more and get him some more experience. But it didn't happen. So he'll probably get some more touches on Friday night, this Friday.
Good. Ryan and I were so, extremely impressed by him and Ethan Campbell at Q's position.
The future looks bright.
I tell you, and that's the thing, the way that Salem football has been running for the past, so long, is that those kids, they'll go a long ways without, having too much of a disappointment in their careers. And then whenever they get up here to the varsity level, things kind of get broken up in there, so they get their first taste of, what it's like to get beat on. So what they do with that from here on out is what's going to matter, and having those kids prepared for that.
Yeah. You mentioned Ethan Campbell. I haven't. We're still 4 weeks into the program. It starts. We're still early in the season, early in the program, and I've been impressed with what Ethan has done. He's coming off a serious injury in middle school, and he's come in and he has really done a great job. Not just as quarterback, but also in our defensive secondary. And here's another one we wanted to see play in the JV on Monday night to get some more evaluation, so we can get him, depth, not maybe just in football, but in all of them sports.
Yeah, it's so exciting for me because I've watched these kids play since third grade.
Yeah.
And seeing them, get into their potential now and really do some good things. It really kind of gives you that, feeling that we're doing the right thing and bringing those kids up. So going into this week, we are going up against Silver Creek here at home, and that's always kind of a, sometimes you never know what you're going to get with Silver Creek.
Right.
It's a tough game usually for us, and it's one that we want to win, and usually we should win. Last year, I think we should have won that game, but they're a program that you can never sleep on.
Right. They're an interesting program. Obviously, they've got a new facility down there.
Yep.
That has sparked a lot of interest in their program, and they're a growing community. I mean, obviously, the school system broke away from the other schools there, Hendersonville and Borden, and there's a lot of people moving to that area, and they're having to build a new school. So Silver Creek is an interesting place where a lot of people are moving to from Louisville or Jeff or New Albany or Clarksville just to get in the suburbs. And I make that drive every day from Sellersburg, and there's so many housing additions going up left and right. So they're a program that is growing, school system that's growing, and they've got transfer kids. They have kids that have transferred in from other schools. So there's an interesting dynamic that's on our schedule. That the last time I played Silver Creek was at Floyd Central, and it was in a JV game, and they were just starting their program.
Yeah.
They've come a long way.
We kind of had that same situation with them whenever I was coaching wrestling at the high school.
Yeah.
They had just started their program.
Right.
But you couldn't count them out because they had so much to draw from.
Right. Yeah. It's a good location. They're sitting pretty, and they've had some success, and they're doing a good job.
So coming into this, are you expecting anything special? Are you guys looking at any certain looks, or I don't want you to give up anything that's been scout for them, but
we got to just get better at what we do. I think we've done a better job. Even though we practiced inside, we did a better job of getting lined up defensively, making sure we're lined up correctly. Of course, as the season goes on, you add one or two things each week.
Yeah.
Maybe a new wrinkle here or a new stunt or a blitz here or whatever. So we've added a couple things here that that you just didn't have time to put in the 2 weeks leading up to the first game. So there's going to be some things, but I think we just focus on us, and that's what we need to worry about.
We had kind of talked about this last week, with I think Jeremy.
Yeah.
To keep it simple, stupid.
Oh yeah.
Just get down the fundamentals and get down the basics, and then we'll get.
Well, yes, and that's we don't want to complicate it too much, but we rep over and over again,
right.
And we don't want to try to reinvent the wheel, but we want to just rep it over and over again, and that's what we do in practice. We just don't do it over and over again.
That's right. It's one of those things that it's muscle memory once you've done it so many times.
Absolutely. And that's what the wing T is. It's muscle memory.
Right.
We run it over and over again. It's not there yet. We're not muscle memory yet.
Yeah.
That's because we're still 4 weeks in, but it will be.
Yeah.
And once that light bulb clicks, we'll be all right.
Yeah, and making sure that your kids are hitting that assignment, and whatever their blocking scheme is, making sure that they understand and know the signals and things like that. You have a kid out there, Pat, and he's telling me what's play, coach, what's the play. You've shown it to him 3 times, but you still gotta once they get that locked in their brain, then things start to fall apart.
Well, if you're out on the football field thinking all the time, you're not going to play very fast.
That's right.
You're going to be you're going to be frozen.
You just got to know.
Once you get it and you know it, then you're going to play fast.
Right.
And that's why the early in the season, a lot of thinking going on, so we're not consistent. As we get going, things will start rolling, and kids will be playing of it. You'll see better reads and better things like that flying around all over the field.
Right, and it's week 1, so you expect it to have a little rustiness, especially so soon in such a young program.
Yeah.
Like you said, you had these kids for 3 weeks before this started off, so it's understandable that there are a few glitches.
Yeah.
And but now when we're talking this time week 6, we should both expect to see a whole lot of improvement there, and that's the goal.
And not only that, as we get some more kids experience, it might be a whole different type of look at team.
Yeah.
Because of kids playing in different spots or things like that as time goes on.
one thing I wanted to ask you about, because I've had a bunch of people ask me, on the defense last week, we stayed in cover 2 most of the time, even though they were busting us up the middle.
We're not really playing cover 2. Our safeties are coming down.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more of a cover 4 type where our safeties are coming down.
Right.
Well, they're like linebackers.
Okay.
So, whenever we get, a certain look offensively, those safeties are coming down.
Okay.
So it's not a true cover 2.
Right.
It might look like that, but when we were manned up on the outside, but when you got a man up on a tight end and things like that, so we were 8 guys in the box, sometimes 9 if there's 2 tight ends.
Right.
So,
and sometimes you just don't have the personnel to cover. I mean, the size.
We got beaten away from it.
Right. And
That's where we got beat. We didn't get beat. We didn't get beat because of lack of effort. We didn't get beat because of schemes. We got beat because their guys are benching 275 and our guys are benching 200 or 195.
Right.
And they're just pushing us. And that's the same with the squat. The squat, power clean.
And we kind of knew this coming into it. No matter who was at the helm of this year, we knew that we were going to be kind of.
We're just undersized. And,
right.
And it's going to be the way it is. And we got to fight through it. When we missed some tackles, I thought our linebackers did a great job of filling their reads and their speeds. We had a couple angles. We got to fix our angles a little bit and make tackles where we were kind of just trying to use our arms to tackle and just move your feet a little bit more and get over in front of them. So I thought we did a pretty good job. I know they moved the ball for our strength compared to their strength. I thought we did pretty good. Yeah. I know we gave up 35 points, but we're still figuring things out.
Now, one thing I wanted to ask you about before I let you get out of here is how's Brian Mossinger doing?
Glass, I haven't heard the last couple of days, but he's getting ready to go to a rehab center.
Good news.
So to get all his, I think each day he's got just a little bit better. I think he's got a long road for recovery.
Right.
I think the memory is there. I think that's good. I think he's got more movement in his left arm and left leg, which is good. Which when it first happened, he didn't have any movement.
Right.
So he's regained some of that, but not all the way yet. So at some point, I think he's going to get transferred to a rehab center to focus fully on those things and getting back to 100%, which is going to be a long road.
Good deal.
And we're praying for him.
Yeah, we are. That's one thing I wanted to say. There, as a community, we're all pulling for you, Brian. And if you're listening, we can't wait to have you back out there on the field. Coach, I will see you Friday. Hopefully, we can do a post-game interview.
I totally spaced it. I forgot. I totally forgot. And if there's any way call me on my phone, and I might be able to remember.
Right. Yep.
And then I'll be able to remember and run up there.
We did play your interview on that Ryan got with you there before the game. So.
Okay, that's good. Well, like I said, I think there's a million things going on after the game.
Absolutely.
Like I got to get that habit of after I dress the team, come run up there and talk to you guys.
All right, Coach.
All right,
well,
thank you.
You have a good night.
All right,
We'll talk to you
appreciate
later.
it. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Keep playing. Keep working. Keep going. And keep moving with the exceptional orthopedic care at Baptist Health. With an experienced team and a full line of advanced services and procedures, it's no wonder most people choose Baptist to help them keep on. Keeping on. Visit BaptistHealth.com/ortho to find a Baptist Health provider.
Let's get on our feet and give a big hand to the starting lineup at McDonald's here in Salem. The Quarter Pounder is coming on the field. Filet of fish and those golden delicious fries are warming up on the sidelines. And now for the feature star of the night, the Big Mac. You'll score every time with a hot, fresh meal from McDonald's in Salem, whether you're there for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Take a time out and stop by before or after the big game to check out their all-day breakfast menu or value menu. Download the McDonald's app and you can get great deals on delicious tastes all day long, including buy 5 McCafe drinks and get 1 free. You'll score every time with the wife and kids when you make a touchdown at the Golden Arches right here in Salem. And don't forget, McDonald's has gift cards so you can give that great fresh taste all season long. Or stop by 601 South Main Street today. And be sure to tune in on Wednesday nights at 7 for Wslm broadcasting live at McDonald's for Coach's Corner. Mission In-Home Healthcare is now hiring full or part-time RNs. Flexible schedules are available with competitive pay. Benefits for full-time. No night or weekends. Stop by the office at 1600 South State Road 135 in Salem or call today, 812-586-0436. A great way to start a new career with Mission In-Home Healthcare.
After a joint surgery, injury, or illness, Meadowview and Salem Crossing are the best choices for helping you recover. Our Moving Forward rehabilitation program offers a full range of therapies. We're here to help you return home safely with the skills you need to live life on your own terms. Meadowview and Salem Crossing, two great options for your rehabilitation. To learn more, visit asccare.com or call 888-996-8272.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and I'm live with Coach Jeremy Lowry. He's the head coach at West Washington. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Doing well. How we doing?
Doing really good. I tell you what, I was a little nervous for you guys. I kept getting reports about the game being one score, and I was like, man, they're going to have to put their foot on the gas.
Hey, you just do what you do, and you get in those type of situations, and you fall back on what you know best, and your belief in your kids, and there was a lot of confidence on the center side, and there was a whole lot of character. And at the end of the day, those are the two things we fell back on. And super proud of our kids. Both teams. It was a really good game. Both teams played really hard. Eastern's got a fine football team. A lot of size, a lot of talent. There were certainly a lot of challenges with playing them, and I expect them to have a great season this year. But as proud as I am of both teams, I was super proud of the kids in red, white, and blue, and
that's right.
How they answered the call. And
then we talked a little bit last week, and your main concern was being that 1 point ahead at the end of the game.
That's right,
and you got there.
Absolutely, and our kids, like I said, that confidence and that character. Every time we needed to make a play, it seems like we did. And that was the difference in the ball game. And we got a lot of football that we've got to get better at, and we got to clean up a lot of things. But at the end of the day, it's a really good feeling when you trust your football team,
right?
And you trust that they are going to play with confidence, and they are going to play with character. And those intangibles, those are the most important things.
Right.
Football is going to continue to get better. I'm 100% confident in that, and so we're just super excited because we feel like the ceiling is very high.
Right. And we've talked about this many times, and it's like what you're seeing week one. You want to every time you step on the field, you want to put on the best product you can. But what you see week one compared to what you see week 6, there should be improvement. And I think if there's much improvement with you guys are going to go a long way this year.
Yeah, we have some significant players back from a year ago, but when you kind of started going down the list, there was 8 kids that got in that football game Friday night that were virtually getting their first Friday night start.
Right.
So I'm super proud of those guys, and super proud of our veteran guys that gave those others the confidence to
step up and were leaders.
Absolutely, they were leaders. They led the young fellas, and it was just a really good night. It was exciting, and it's how you want to start week one. And unfortunately, the way it works is we enjoyed it over the weekend, and now
you got to get back
to
work.
Back in the grind. It's a new challenge. It's a new week. Every week brings different things, different challenges that you got to prepare for. We've certainly had some of that this week, and that's what you do. That's the game of football. And there's going to be some kids that are going to need to step up this Friday that didn't step up last Friday.
Right.
And I 100% expect them to do that. And like I said, that's what excites me about this football team, because I trust this team, and I know they're going to bring it on game night.
Right. So how you guys been combating this heat this week? I know it's been pretty nasty out there, and it seems like everybody. Did your game get pushed up to 8?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it seems like everybody's has.
Yeah, we're back to 8 o'clock at Clarksville. As far as the week goes, We try to keep things as status quo as possible. We shortened things down, took extra breaks, but we wanted to stay outside. You know, it's a fine line between, you know, you don't want to wear them down and lose all those electrolytes through the week and then be drained on Friday, but you also want to go out and you want to acclimate a little bit, get used to the weather as well. So we tried to keep things as status quo as possible, just shorten the field time down and lots of breaks.
Yeah, you don't want to walk through the gym in the air conditioning all week and then get out there and get slapped in the face on Friday night. You need to be a little bit acclimated to that. So
absolutely,
you know,
that was the plan. Yeah, that was the plan, and that's what we've done. We got, you know, a few things to sure up tomorrow in our dress rehearsal, and the way we run our Thursdays, it'll be a typical Thursday. We'll get in, we'll get out. Thursdays for us is a lot of special teams. It's a lot of last walkthroughs on offensive defense, and then situations. We run through a lot of case scenarios in practice on Thursdays, and really work the heck out of those different scenarios that tend to come up. And it's a good thing we did because last Friday we lived it.
Right.
One came up, and it's nice for the kids to see that before they actually get out there in live action.
Yeah, and getting like I was talking with Coach Gleason, it's that muscle memory. You know, it's knowing those steps. You know, whether you're out there in 60-degree weather or you're out there in 100-degree weather, having that fresh in your mind and playing fast football isn't thinking. You know, it's instinct. And right now you've got this ingrained in you. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, you know, 2 case scenarios last Thursday. One was a 2-minute drill. We had to use that before half. You know, we scored with 1.9 seconds left going into the half, which turned out to be a huge score.
Right.
We got to drop back. We got to make a throw. We got to protect it. We got to throw it on timing. Receiver's got to make the break. He's got to catch the ball. That goes down. 6 more points for the Senators that we certainly needed at the end there. And then at the end of the game, protecting the lead and had to put the defense out and back against the wall and the other team driving. You know, both of those case scenarios were worked on Thursday. And you know, as a coach, you get excited when you see things show up.
Right.
You know, whether it be a drill.
Remember when I said that?
Yeah, whether it be a drill or whether it be situational football like I'm talking about.
Right.
You know, you always want to practice with a purpose. You know, you spend a lot of time in the off season. Is this a good drill? Is it worth our time? Is this situational period a good period? Is it worth our time? And just a lot of that stuff showed up on Friday. We had another play early in the game. Hudson Crest makes a long run to set up our first score, and we call it a 3-legged drill with a running back going down, and he's got to put his hand down on the ground.
Right.
Well, you know, everybody thinks Hudson's down.
And he pops out.
Goes down, he comes out, turns it into a 40-yard run, gets us in the red zone. We score a couple plays later. You know, so that stuff shows up, and it's important. You know, you try to stress how important it is, but it really backs up how you practice when the stuff happens in games, because you can then go back and say, hey, fellas, remember that drill here?
Right.
That's exactly
right. This is what we were talking about, and this is why we do what we do. And it helps out because, you know, maybe you don't have a kid, you have a kid that's not fully buying into the program, and then whenever you see the proof is in the pudding, you know, well, maybe Coach knows what he's talking about. Maybe I'll put in that extra effort this week. Maybe, you know, this will lead me to more playing time. You know, it's all about having those kids that buy in and are 100% convinced. It goes back to you being able to trust your football team.
Absolutely. You know, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. You know, I told you, football's going to get better, but those intangibles, you know, when you start getting to the point where you've got a team that's got some special intangibles like that, it makes you excited.
Yeah. You know, and as exciting as it is at this stage of the game, getting to see that stuff pay off and work, you know, that's the payoff at the end of the day anyway. You know, you get to see your team get better, you get to see them play better, you get to see them be better all-around players. And like you said, it even translates to them being better citizens. And I feel like you're on the right track out there with all of that. And that's what's going to make a great football team.
Yeah, you know, at halftime, you know, I remember talking about and telling the guys as we met there that, you know, I'm excited this is a close game.
Yeah.
You should be excited this is a close game. We want to be tested. It's easy to be great when everything's going right.
That's right.
anybody can be great when everything's going right.
But now when we got to get our knuckles dirty and get down here and get in the mud.
Yeah. What are you going to do when you're in the middle of a storm?
Right.
What are you going to do when things aren't going right? When you turn the ball over and you do things like that. Luckily, we didn't do that. That was the other thing that was encouraging Friday is we took care of the football. We had 0 turnovers. We played great defense. Those are the things early in the season that carry you in games.
Absolutely. And that confidence level that they get from that, being able to say that, hey, we didn't make these mistakes, we didn't make these mistakes. Now, there were probably some mistakes that were made, but that's going to happen in every football game. It's what happens the next football game that matters.
Right. Absolutely.
So you guys are going down there to Clarksville, and are you expecting anything out of the ordinary down there, or do you have anything that you are kind of keeping your eye on?
Every team, there's different challenges. This will be a different style. It's double tight. It's key. It's right at you, a little bit different animal as far as that goes. They've got some guys with tremendous speed. If those guys get loose, they can cause a lot of problems. So you got to take great pursuit. You got to tackle well. Like I said, every one of these weeks is a new challenge.
Right.
And, you just got to, the kids got to go out and execute what we've worked this week, and they prepared well. And I expect us to go play well.
And Clarksville is, they're kind of a hungry team down there. They've made some changes here in the last couple seasons to better their program and move in a direction that they can improve. So you can't sleep on them. They for the last few years they had been kind of the team to beat. They were almost got treated as a practice game, and that you can't sleep on guys like that, especially when they're in this rebuild that they're in. And they're, like I said, they're a hungry team.
Yeah, there's a couple things there, that you talk about a lot. One, with our football team, we always talk about respect all, fear none.
That's right.
We will respect every opponent we play, but we're certainly not going to go fear anyone. And, I think when you go in with that type of mentality and you stay consistent with that mentality week in and week out, they've got kids that can play.
That's right.
We've got to go make plays. That's what a football game comes down to. We've got to take care of the football. We got to play great defense. All those things. That's what, at the end of the day, that's what equals a win, a loss. And we also talk about that. There is no. It's real easy. People that step back and watch games, or fans and things like that. That, oh well, you got that one, coach. They've been talking about. There is no routine win on our schedule. You got to go take and work for every win you're going to get, and that's what makes it so fun. It's another reason why we don't practice on Saturdays. We don't meet with the kids on the weekends. When we're fortunate enough to come out with a win, we want our kids to enjoy the win.
That's right.
And they're going to go savor that. And whatever mistakes we made on Friday, we're going to take care of those mistakes on Monday.
That's right.
And, that's just how we operate. And I think our kids have bought into that. And I'm just ready to go do it again. I can't believe it's already Wednesday, and we already had our Wednesday practice. Really when it boils down to it, you got all your preparation day on Monday, then you get meat and potatoes on Tuesday, you get meat and potatoes on Wednesday, you gift wrap it on Thursday, and then you go play it on Friday. So, those 2 heavy work weeks, day week, Tuesday and Wednesday, they've already come and gone. It's time to do it again.
Yeah, and you know what? Like you said, that's what you live for, that preparation and getting to this point, and now it's time to go out there with the team that you trust and get to work.
Absolutely.
Coach, it's been nice talking to you tonight. I hope you get to see you next Wednesday, and you have a great evening.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right
Sprained ankle, swollen joints, and no time for an appointment? Schneck Medical Center has you covered. Visit our orthopedic walk-in clinic for expert care. Our specialists provide fast attention to a number of bone and joint problems. No appointment necessary. Available Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. For more information, visit schneckmed.org. Schneck, healthy together.
bring on the garlic. Get ready for another epic event this summer with Papa John's new Garlic Epic Stuffed Crust Pizza. This is the third version of Papa John's Stuffed Crust Pizza. First there was the regular cheese stuffed crust, and then they added pepperoni into the crust. Now this pizza has garlic in 3 places: in the crust, on the crust, and in a cup with its special garlic dipping sauce. The pizza has a blend of cheese with garlic seasoning inside the crust and more garlic seasoning on top of the crust. It's available as a large pizza for just $13.99. Papa John's also has a garlic chicken pizza, which has a hand-tossed original crust with real cheese, vine-ripened Roma tomatoes, grilled all-white chicken, artichoke, roasted garlic, and fresh cremini mushrooms on a zesty garlic ranch sauce. Call 812-883-3369 to reach your Salem Papa John's, or stop in at the corner of Main and Hackberry Streets to pick up your hot, fresh pizza today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Don't forget to get your Papa John's for those Friday night tailgates. Order a pizza and tune into the game on WSLM 97.9 FM or WSLM 1220 AM, or streaming on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter.
Things change. Insurance should too. Jason can help to see if you're covered for life's constant changes. Call Jason Bettmeyer, your Washington County agent, at 812-883-2995 or visit infarmbureau.com.
Get ready for the new school year with some custom school swag from Tees and Tumblers on the Square in Salem. The new school year and football season is right around the corner, and you'll want to come in and get your school's logo put on a variety of products to show your school spirit. Their back-to-school special is a logo tee of your choice with a tumbler for just $35. Located on the northwest side of the square, Tees and Tumblers offers a variety of pre-printed items, or they can custom make your items in the store. They have custom can koozies, air fresheners, and lots more. The possibilities are as endless as your imagination. Call 812-508-6199 or stop in and see the staff at Tees and Tumblers today.
Come out and see Mark Johnson, the new owner of the Washington County Tire Shop. Mark and his family would like to invite you to come out to the new location at 101 Progress Way right here in Salem, right across from Salem Walmart. At Washington County Tire Shop, you'll find tires for all your vehicles, oil changes, battery and electrical, preventative maintenance, brake service, AC repairs, steering and suspension system work. For more information, call them at 812-586-0490.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back, and it's time for our nightly inspiration. And tonight, that is this, and it's a quote from Ken Venturi. I don't believe you have to be better than everybody else. I believe you have to be better than you ever thought you could be. And the reason I like that one is that goes to show that that goes to speak to the fact that you are out there as an individual, and you have to decide to put in the effort. We always coached with the youth league that we're only as good as our weakest player, so we would coach that kid up to the level of the rest of the players. So for that quote to be about the individual, that is one link in the chain. So being able to say that I have to be better than that kid, that is true to an extent. But you also have to be better than you thought you could be, because if you don't believe in yourself and you don't push yourself, and that's what it's about, it's pushing yourself, then you're never going to improve, you're never going to get anywhere. Just like I've spoken to these coaches tonight, we mentioned a lot about what kind of team you are week 1 versus what kind of team you are week 6. Those things matter, and if you're not making a steady improvement and going in a positive direction, then what are you doing? Why are you doing it? It matters whenever you're putting all this work in and you're getting to see the fruit of your labor. Just like Coach Jeremy was talking about tonight, Coach Lowry, they actually had a few scenarios that they drilled for and got to see come to fruition. And being able to, show the scenarios that you're talking about and showing how what you're doing is working, that's what's going to make your kids believe, and that's what's going to let them buy into the program. And that matters because in small communities like these, you're limited on what kind of talent you get and how many kids you get every year because you're only so big. So you've got to make the best of what you got, or you've got to make the best player out of who you get. And I think that's what's more important is let's take care of these kids. Let's make them great young adults, and then let's also encourage them to be the best individual that they can be as far as sports in their daily lives, and just in general. The coaching doesn't stop on the football field. It doesn't stop on the basketball court. It doesn't stop on the rest of that. These kids are our future, and the more investment and time that we put into these kids, the better off our community is going to be in the long run. So let's convince these kids that don't just try to be better than that guy. Try to be the best you that you can be, and everything else falls in place. So, given that we are such a small, tight-knit community, and I talk about this a lot, the football family, encourage everybody that's out there, everybody you see. You see one of these kids out here that works a job and is doing football and balancing that in their lives, encourage those kids because they're doing so much. They're going to school full time. Sometimes they're working in the evenings. They're doing their football practice, and then they've got games, and they're putting in a lot of effort. So whenever you do see these kids, encourage them, pat them on the back, give them a break wherever you can. Just take good care of these kids, and that's not just with sports; it's with anything. These kids that are going and doing these extracurricular activities with their academics and things like that. These are our future engineers. These are, our future mayors and heads of companies and things like that. These are going to be the future employers. Let's take care of them and let them see that there's more to life than just these games. But these games are teaching fundamentals of life. And that's one thing that we've talked about a lot is, a lot of people a lot of people will talk about it being just a sport and just this or just that. But really, these kids are learning life skills whenever it's said and done. Whenever we get to the end of the day, they're learning to be team players. They're learning to be leaders. And whether we like it or not, that's stuff that we're going to need. So just encourage these kids to do as good as they can, not just to be better than this other guy, but to be the best that they can be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got for you tonight. I've got a couple of commercial spots we're going to hit, and then we're going to get out of here tonight. You guys have a great evening, and God bless.
Bend to Evansville, and from Vincennes to Richmond, all over Hoosier country. Catch Indiana University football all season long. He gets away! 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! The Hoosiers kick off the season against Big Ten foe Ohio State, Saturday, September 2nd, on the Neal Tire and Auto Service Radio Network from Learfield.
It's time for the Commissioner's Corner, an exclusive weekly conversation about Indiana high school sports with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Neidig. Now for an up-to-the-minute report about what's happening in the constantly changing world of high school sports, here's Coach Bob Lovell with Commissioner Paul Neidig.
Welcome back, everyone. We are so glad you're with us for our weekly conversation with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Neidig. Commissioner, week one of high school football in the books. It was a great night weather-wise, great night in terms of games, attendance, everything about it was just a wonderful way to start this season.
First of all, week one, coaches of, as we said last week, half the teams in the state are undefeated and half the teams in the state are defeated, and they're all refocusing this week, and I was just looking at some of the matchups, and it's going to be another banner week of high school football across the state.
You and your staff had a board meeting earlier in the week. I'm curious, for those who don't understand, you and your staff sitting in Indianapolis, you don't make all the rules. So this isn't a member institution type of association where the membership makes its own rules and you carry out their wishes. And so I'm curious in terms of structure and what you can tell people what a board meeting consists of and how agenda items actually get on that agenda for these meetings.
Yeah, Coach, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk about that because it is truly a membership organization. Schools, they're not required to be a member of this association. They choose to do so. They elect the board of directors from the membership that serve this organization. I mean, they have full authority to set bylaws and hire and fire me, of course. And then, anything needs to be changed along the way, and it often does. After robust discussion and study, the bylaws are changed, and that's the way it works. And the other piece of this is any member school principal across our 410 school have the ability to author a bylaw for consideration of change with our board of directors. And so, it's a system that's worked obviously since 1903, and I think it continues to work really well today. And we just left a board meeting earlier this week, and we've spent about almost 4 hours discussing different things around the state, from tournament financial reports to penalties assessed to tournament alignments. We approved one thing we did this week was approve the boys and girls basketball tournament for this upcoming year. And so we're already thinking about the winter coming up here and what the winter sports are going to look like. So, it's just kind of a never-ending process.
Right.
And things change out there. Schools change. Education changes. Unfortunately, people also try to find ways to we'll just say, cheat the system a little bit. In my world, that book is awful thick because we got people who haven't done the right thing along the way, try to gain an advantage. And, but anyway, we'll keep chasing those things too.
One of the things you talked about was a record-breaking year at the gate, your box office receipts. Your attendance was record-breaking also. It was a fantastic year in many ways for the association last year.
Attendance was up again, so we certainly went through COVID, and then we're saying, is people going to come back? Well, they came back in record numbers, and then we even surpassed that this past year. We sold about 28,000 more tickets this past year than we did the previous year across all of our sports, and so very pleased with that. But one thing I'm real pleased with, Coach, is this association for the member schools operation we do not operate off the tax dollar. Everything that we do comes in through gate receipts and some sponsorship dollars, but the primary driver of this whole thing is we return a lot of money back to our member schools, and annually this year specifically, we're going to turn back an additional $800,000 to the member schools. So the total amount that will be back to school distribution is going to be about $208 million this year. And that's money that our schools keep locally from tournament participation. And that doesn't happen anywhere but Indiana, and so we're so pleased to be able to do that. And we want to be able to return those dollars. And it's specifically from tickets back to our member schools for their operations of their athletic departments.
Thanks for listening to The Commissioner's Corner with IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig and Coach Bob Lovell. And thank you for your continued support of the high schools in your community.